Hello again, Star Wars players. Welcome back. Been a long time. Hope you're doing well. I haven't played the game in about a year. Figured if I'm going to come back, maybe it might be a good time to start with some sealed deck games. I did pull a John Cena, snuck one game in at the end of December, just to keep my streak alive. But I was looking around and I saw that this sealed deck league, all of the Jedi, has been out for a little while now, but I haven't personally played it. I know some of you probably haven't either. And I thought, what a great time to make a video, right? Looked around, didn't see any other videos about it. So this particular format, uh, there seems to be leagues running for it pretty continuously. You would come over here to your leagues tab. If you're in the GEMP, you go right over here to the leagues tab. All of the Jedi Sealed. You'd have an option to join it. It only cost you 5 gold, which is your weekly allowance, I think, if that's still the thing. Bam, right there, league joined. You're instantly going to get a whole bunch of cards. This is a sealed format, so there are some special rules, which it doesn't seem to want to pop up right now, which is weird. If I go here, is that working? All right. Well, it worked before, and it was telling me about the league. Even if you go over here, there is no format breakdown for it, so this is also important. But it looks like it is going to be probably 40 card decks. And Sealed also does have the rule where once per game you get to download a battleground location. Don't forget about that as well. But when you do join this league, you're going to get a whole bunch of packs from most, looks like all of the sets, really. I think that's kind of the point, right? It's all of the Jedi. So you get Premiere, A New Hope, Hoth, Dagobah, Cloud City, Jabba's Palace. I don't see Special Edition, unless it's on the next page. Hey, there's Special Edition. Come on back. There's Endor. There's Death Star 2. We've got Reflections 1, Reflections 2, Reflections 3. Then we should have our Episode 1 sets. There's Coruscant. There's Tatooine. There's Theed. So you get 2 packs from every set. All of the cards are live. You also get a random system and a random site for each side, which may help you with your starting or how your gameplay may unfold, your deck building options. Those are randomly assigned to you. You also get, so I got Hoth and Mos Eisley. And then for dark side or light side, I got Rythal and the Throne Room. So who knows? Maybe I can set up a WAP deck. We'll see. And then I also got the Signal and Twi'lek. So those are your cards. You'd come over here, you'd click your packs button, and you'd start opening up some packs. Let's take a quick peek. Let's scroll through this. Let's see what we get. Let's open some packs. Opening packs is fun, right? What do we get? Dodonna, Gold 1. Gold 1's the rare. Oh, Scanning Crew. That's always fun. And a Sandcrawler. Yes, this just feels like 25 years ago. This really does. Spending my allowance opening packs of Premier and getting terrible, terrible rares. And then giving the guy $5 more right at the store to give me 2 more packs. Because can't go home with those as your 2 cards. Hey, Tisvit. Ooh, Grimtosh and Monarch, though. Those are always fun. Kashik's a good system. And you are going to do a little bit of deck building once we're here. Stunning Leader, Evax, Blastador Kid. Okay, we got some support interrupts here to work with. Let's go into Hoth. It's kind of nice to see how the game evolves here. Blizzard 2 is a strong one, along with the 3rd marker. That's a very strong location, a power harpoon. You never know when that might come in handy. It Can Wait's always a fun card, too. It is sealed, so you're going to get to play all kinds of cards that you never really get to use before. Echo Base Operations, Walker Sighting, Imperial Dominate. Oh, Switch Off. Okay, another It Can Wait. And its counterpart, I just assumed Kiss a Wookiee. For those of you not familiar with those cards. Use 3 force to place an opponent's just deployed character, vehicle, starship, weapon, or device back in their hand. On their next turn, they get to redeploy that card for free. So they deploy a card to battle you, and you're just like, now put it back in your hand. They have to pick it up. All the force they used stays used. Basically shuts them down for a turn. Now you know, hey, they've got Darth Vader. They're probably going to redeploy him. Well, they have to redeploy him next turn. Actually, it just says that card may deploy for free. They don't have, I guess, part of the errata, I guess, to that card. It was slightly changed. It does not have to redeploy, but they can redeploy it for free. Used to be part of an old trick back in the day where you would just, if there was only like one site on the table, you just pile up a bunch of guys there, and then, well, they had to redeploy the guy, so they'd have to deploy into it. Probably a good thing that that got changed. All right. I forget exactly when that got changed. Probably would have been a long time ago. What do we get here? We got a fear. We got a scramble. Okay. A Jedi test. Probably not using that. Oh, look, a space slug. Man, these are some terrible, terrible rares. Hey, Yoda. Only goes to Dagobah. Yes. All right. We'll keep going in chronological order here. Cloud City. You are beaten. Ambush is a rare. Ambush isn't bad. Okay. So this is what you would do. You just go through, you'd open up some packs, and then you'd actually start the deck building process. Life Debt's an interesting card, but we don't have a Han or a Chewie yet. Now, someone may have posted the actual rules and the breakdown on the forums. I don't know why they're not coded actually into GEMP, but hopefully maybe this video will help you find a little bit there. I'm not actually going to go through the deck building process. We're just going to do the pack opening. I think there are a couple of games planned, so maybe we'll take a quick peek at what they've got going on. An entire legion of my best troops. That's a popular card. Corporal Kensark's always a good one too. At an exterior battleground site with your other scout adds 2 to the deploy cost of opponents' characters, vehicles, and starships to that site. So if you just got to get him with another scout, and when you look at that, I have a scout trooper right there. That's a combo. Everything they want, every character, vehicle, or starship. You can't really deploy starships to sites unless he's at a docking bay, maybe. But characters and vehicles, they're all going to be deploy +2 in sealed, where you're not really getting necessarily a whole lot of force to work with. That's pretty brutal. What do we get here? Inconsequential losses. Prepared defenses. Excellent. We got the better starting interrupt. Squadron assignments to match up for some of these ships. Okay. Off Jerjerrod. There's another X-Wing. There's another scout. Lots of starship weapons. We'll save the reflections packs for last. Hey, we got some pod racing cards. Yay! You're often going to get a whole bunch of stuff that's probably not going to be very useful because it's all going to be parts of themes or related to a specific character, like Maul's lightsaber right here. But there's always a possibility, right, that we get them all somewhere. There's still, Coruscant and Theed packs that have, well, could have Mauls, as well as the Reflections 3. There's a Mace Windu. That's a pretty solid pull. Hyperdrive Objective. Inconsequential losses. Another blaster rifle that could have a Destiny bonus from an entire legion. Sabe. Malastare. Another, the Naboo blaster. That would be a nice Destiny 7 card. Some Senate stuff. Again, you're getting fragments of stuff, so that's always the challenge with these. Oh, I guess I missed a pack. There's a nice TIE cannon. Awesome. Dreaded Imperial Starfleet to cancel some force drains by placing a non-unique starfighter. Pretty sure we got 1 or 2 of those. This is a pack of almost entirely light side cards. Well, that's interesting, but we did get a Leia. Too bad we don't have any Leia-specific cards. Theed Palace. Just a couple more packs to open here, and then you'd go into the deck building process. Every once in a while, GEMP gets a little hiccup. You gotta wait. There you go. A couple of battle droids. Not really a whole lot going on here. Again, as you're kind of getting stuck into... You are Bravo 5, and that is Bravo 5, so there's your matching starfighter. Would you look at that? and get to your ships. Well, I got squadron assignments in the pack earlier. All right, so we got a couple reflections packs left. We'll take a quick look at this. There's a set for stun. Nice. Some more weapons. Smoke screen. Okay. That'll go nice with that Mace Windu. And that's really what you're trying to piece together. You're not going to have the fluid nature like you would in a constructed deck. You're trying to piece together, a couple of 2 or 3 card combos if you can. Just get some strong abilities going. There's a protector. Cancels. I just as soon kiss a Wookiee. Barrier's always good. Oh, good. A second Sandcrawler. Yes. That's what I was missing. That's what I was missing. That was all I needed. Alright, so now we're into Reflections 2, where we are getting a couple of the combo cards. I thought you got 3 combo cards per pack, but it looks like we're only getting 2 here. Draw Their Fire is a good one. We got a Stinger and an Altar. Never Y'all Know. Bosk with Mortar Gun Foil could be helpful. Guys with weapons that make people forfeit 0 are always good, but this was the one, this guy actually captures people, which would take them out of the battle right away. There's a Vigo. There's an Abyssin Ornament to get some non-uniques. Our Most Desperate Hour. Probably don't have the locations for it, but we might be able to pull off some of these lone ones. Lone Pilot here. Pilot defending a battle alone at a system. Add a Battle Destiny. And Crate Dragon Howl is if any rebel with ability greater than 2 is defending a battle alone at a site, you can add a Destiny. That's the secondary part. We don't have Obi-Wan, so we would have to make it work with the second part, which could come in handy. Hey, there's a Luke Skywalker right there in my Reflections 3-pack. Okay. Couple of defensive shields we don't have the ability to play. There's a foil Talon card, who's not bad. Choke's a pretty decent card as well. Cancel the game text of 1 unique alien for a remainder of turns. You just cancel the game text of 1 of their aliens. Or if you just forfeited an alien, satisfy all remaining attrition against you. You get another fun card like Sergeant Wallen. Deploy for free to a battle you just initiated at a battleground site. But you start a battle and then deploy an extra guy for free. And what's in our final pack here? Now this also is a 2-series format, so these are the packs you'll have to start the event off with. Mind What You Have Learned objective. That'll go well with that Yoda and that Luke that I have. Now I just need the sights. And I got a Jedi Test 3. Also got a Jedi Council Chamber. Okay. There's a good starting location right off the bat. So, because this is a dual series thing, you'll start the first series off. Series 1, I believe you can play up to 20 games. So you can play up to 20 games in this format, and you have until February 3rd to do it. And once that's done, you'll go ahead and then move on to the second one, where you'll get some more packs that you can add to your existing sealed deck stuff. Alright, so after this, I was looking for the format rules real quick. I was not able to find them, anything really like cohesive. But normally just, I don't know why it didn't work before. It's still not showing up. What if I refresh? If I just do this. There we go. Alright, so deck size is 40 cards. You'll have 60 minutes. You really shouldn't need that to play the format. All sets are valid because, again, this is all of the Jedi, right? And then you have this unique rule here. Once per game, download a unique battleground not already on table. So you and your opponent can both, once per game, go get an extra location out. So now you've opened all your stuff. You come back to your cards. Find it easier to best to just sort by whatever side you're going, and then you're going to kind of go through here, and you are trying to build a 40 card deck. And that's going to be tough because you're going to have to kind of go through, take assessment of what locations you have, what characters you have to work with. I have seen a number of blasters. So there are a couple of blasters here, because the first thing I saw that I got was an entire legion. And what this card particularly does is your blaster rifles, stormtrooper utility belts, and blaster scopes deploy -1, but more importantly are destiny +2 when drawn for weapon or battle destiny. It's just an effect that deploys on the table. You have the ability to start it because they give you Twi'lek Advisor. So then all of your blasters, blaster rifles, and blaster scopes. So this blaster rifle, normally it's a 3, but it would be a 5 if drawn for destiny. Deploys on any warrior, normally costs 2, but because of entire legion, its deploy is -1. So even though it may not be the best at shooting people and things like that, or the most cost effective, this Naboo blaster becomes a 7. This blaster rifle becomes a 4. And this scout blaster, which can go on anybody, would be a 6 instead of a 4. So now you've just got a whole bunch of high destiny cards. Normally weapons are usually a little bit lower, and they usually hurt you when you draw them for destiny. In this case, not so much. This is the kind of combos and things you're trying to piece together in a sealed deck. You're not going to have very cohesive stuff to work with, so you kind of got to make do with what you got. This is how I would go about deck building for it. Card type. Let's look at what locations we have to work with too, because we got to find a starting location, and we got to find a way to generate some force. We got some Bespin sites. We have a few docking bays. Did we get any type of docking bay puller? That's another good question. Does not look like it. So we got a couple of docking bays, but no way to reliably pull them out. What about any objectives? We got Endor operations. Probably don't have the sites for that. We got invasion. Probably don't have the locations and cards for that. And then we got the Senate objective, which would be deploying the Senate and any other location. And I don't know if we got the Senate. We did not. Okay, so it looks like we're just trying to find just a basic starting location, and then we're going to pull a battleground. In this case, I'm feeling like for my starting location, I might just want to use the 3rd marker. Also adds 1 to my weapon destiny draws. Kind of plays into what I'm trying to do here. This could also be the battleground that I pull if I wanted to start. Like, I don't have like a good... I have like, I could start a 1-0 and then pull one of these or something like that, but honestly it doesn't feel really worth it. The only other options would be Mos Espa and Mos Eisley. Neither of those locations are very good either. So you kind of get the idea where we're going with this. I do want to go take a look because I feel like there's a couple of games playing right now. So to give you guys just an example of what exactly it's going to look like when, it's a sealed deck game, so you're going to have all kinds of stuff all over the table. These guys are on the end of their 2nd turn. They both, so dark side presumably started the throne room, light side started the war room. Dark side got a couple of systems out. We can go back through the log here and take a look. They both used their, one of them Twi'lek for the grabber. The other one started the signal with Gunite. Gunite, the card that makes all their characters of ability greater than 2 deploy +2, which is really going to slow down things quite a bit. You get a lot of these cards in some of these sealed deck formats, and none of the bullets. Well, they might be in here somewhere for a lot of them, but we can certainly see that this particular guy's got quite a force choke strategy going on with the cards he happened to draw into. The camp is another one. Opponent's aliens deploy +1 on Tatooine, or +2 if they're non-unique, or go into the same site as a Jedi, and it's +4 if it's both. If you're deploying a non-unique alien on Tatooine in front of a Jedi, it would cost you +4. I don't think there's any non-uniques that are ability greater than 2 that would also trigger Gunite, but if you're trying to squeeze out some cheap guys, they're going to cost more. The bigger guys are going to cost more. So Decimator here is really going for a force choke strategy. And Sealed, there's always quite a bit of randomness that goes on here too. So Jasper went first, got out both systems from hand, and then used his once per game and got Mos Eisley out, and then just drew a couple cards. Ooh, that's a big ship. Saved up a couple. Lightside got out the Mos Espa docking bay from hand and just has drawn up a pretty big hand. Now we got the Gunite, now we got the Force Choke with the camp. Also put Endor out as well. So what do we got here? We have an immune to less than 12 ship. This thing's probably not going anywhere. Permanent pilot only provides ability of 3, so he had to put somebody else aboard. He did find another pilot, who happens to be an alien and ability 2, but he's not going to Tatooine, so he's okay there. So now he's got power 14 plus a battle destiny here, and he's immune to attrition less than 12. This thing's probably not going anywhere. I mean, it can move around and chase people, but it's probably just going to sit here and drain for 2 for a very long time. And since you're only working with 40 card decks, things like this can, put some pressure on your opponent and force them to do something, perhaps that they don't want to do. Oh, Lightside's getting Kessel out, giving up a little bit more force. Icons here. And they're going to put down the Redemption. Does he have a Bacta tank to go with it? Because that would just be a crazy combination. He's got Lieutenant Tarn Meeson. Now here is an interesting. Adds 2 to power if anything he pilots when Starfighter, keyword there being Starfighter, he pilots, fires a starship weapon. Characters aboard the target are forfeit equals 0 for a remainder of turns. So if he was aboard a Starfighter and he fired a weapon, all the pilots aboard the ship he targeted, like Lathe over here, would be forfeit equals 0. So therefore, if the opponent had to lose something, they'd have to lose the whole ship. Or a vehicle. That's another way to get around Tarn Meeson. If you have any vehicles, put a cheap vehicle up here. That way you've got some forfeit. We got an A-Wing. That's got a permanent pilot aboard. That's not going to do it. I'm sure we'll see Darkside drain for 2 here. Potentially deploy some stuff on the ground. Or maybe put another character aboard the Executor, or have another ship and go to a different system. But this is probably going to end up ending the turn over here at Kessel. Because this is a light side drain of 3. Okay, so he does have another ship. He's got a Victory Class Star Destroyer here. With R3T6, adds 1 to power, 2 to hyperspeed, and makes it immune to less than 4. So now we're talking about the ship being power 7, having hyperspeed 6, can go anywhere eventually, and it's immune to less than 4. Still doesn't get a battle destiny though, so he's either going to need to find a pilot, or he'll move the Executor over, and he'll just, take control of that system. But this is kind of how this format plays out. A lot of sealed deck too, but this one is a little more organized. Sorry, this one's a little more random in terms of you have a wide variety of packs that you're being included in, as opposed to the other sealed formats on GEMP that are Premiere and A New Hope, or just the official tournament seal deck with has Premiere and New Hope packs in it, or maybe just like an Endor Death Star 2 where you get like the Death Star 2 starter deck and then a couple of Endor or Death Star 2 packs to play with. This one has a much wider range of cards. Random luck is going to play a bit of a role here in terms of what you get and what you have to work with. But you also do get a lot more cards to play with. So some of these other fun combinations of things, like we were looking at earlier, with opening my packs, getting an entire Legion in one of my packs, and then between the other 5 or 6, packs I opened from various sets, pulling a bunch of different blasters that are all going to work with that card. Those are you know, the fun little combos that you get to put together in sealed. That some things you might not ever play with in a constructed format these days. So that's all I want to do is a quick introduction to this format. For those of you who don't know how to play it, I know there's going to be some upcoming events about it. As we move into 2023 here, it seems like this may be the sealed deck format of choice. I know a lot of leagues are running this, whether the regional leagues. Some of them are being a hybrid, whether in-person play and online play. And this is one of the formats they're using for the online play, because we don't have a lot of the sealed product to open at live events anymore. But you can play it online and open the virtual products, and then build your hybrid combo decks, and then leave your in-person tournaments for your constructed format events. So hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions about the format, about playing Star Wars CCG in general or GEMP, just leave them in the comments, and see you around the galaxy.